Hey guys, it's Perry. Today we're doing a Shyvana review in around gold elo. Shyvana is still one of the most broken junglers on the patch. It'll be for the next patch as well. They haven't really touched Shyvana, so definitely take a look at how we can be playing Shyvana better. If you are, around gold elo, this will be the perfect video for you to watch. Let's jump right into it. First thing I want to note is two things. One, you're taking blue smites. Red smite's actually the best smite to go on Shyvana. Small thing, but your E's are so much more powerful later on. Your dragon form E's are so much powerful later on when you have the red smite. The second,
Yeah,
yeah,
I've been using it in the recent games, so you're
okay,
absolutely right.
cool.
Yeah,
The next thing I want to bring up is the potion here. So how come you decide to take potion? Do you often to go potion or?
I always take potion,
Okay,
just to be sure.
what are you being sure of?
I can't guarantee if I either get invaded or there's like a scramble or a fight. So I'm gonna take the potion regardless. I
Okay,
like to be safe.
um, I get that. 50 gold can change your recall drastically though. You can get a pickaxe or two longswords, depending on if you have that extra gold, if you get that crab or not. Generally speaking, you rarely take potion on any jungler, period. There are some junglers that you can anticipate that probably will invade you, like in Italy could invade you. But I think if this is something that you really just like taking, it's fine. I just have the recommendation of like, hey, you should be confident to make good decisions that don't rely on having this potion or not. If you're worried about getting invaded, there are things you can do to respond to the invade that don't require the potion. Ward, for example, pings, giving camps, a lot of different alternatives. If you're getting invaded, the extra 120 HP probably isn't going to win you the fight. I'm not going to lie.
Good point. Okay,
Alright.
I'll abandon it then.
Smite, smites. Most of the time, potion is going to be not as useful as keeping the extra. Okay, against a champion like Nidalee who will like likely invade you, like it makes sense, but then you gotta evaluate like, okay, you're playing against Nidalee, you're playing against Pike, you're playing against like these two strong early game champions. You might not be able to get your camps anyway. Again, that potion might not change what's going on. So just like food for thought on that idea.
Okay, yeah, it's not significant enough. All right.
Right. All right. So you're doing something a bit bit psycho, right? So who do you think is stronger, level one, Nidalee or you?
Literally.
Yeah, Nidalee runs you down if she spots you coming into this bush right here. Right,
It's
you're
true, and
face check in,
I always do that too.
and do you often get away with it or?
I've gotten away with it every single time so far.
Okay, yeah,
Like you can even look at the games. Every single time I do it.
yeah, okay. It's a fair thing to always try and do at least. Getting the ward is pretty
Maybe it's
fucking
just my
OP.
elo.
Yeah,
That's why.
and lower elo people are not gonna like be standing in the right spot. I mean, the guy's standing in the bot side, so he's not really standing in the right spot. But regardless, I would be a little more careful, a little more thoughtful of, oh, do you win level one or not? Because if you don't win, then chances are it's not gonna feel it's not gonna work. Um, if they're just sitting in this bush, you might get shit on here.
Ah, okay. So that's the criteria, whether you can win the 1v1 or not.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good to know.
All right, you're taking this. Great. Good. Small thing here. Look at when you cast your W. You want to be already next to the Krug, the big Krug, when you cast your W. It's really small, but
Hmm.
it
Okay,
can it
okay.
can sort of speed things up by a little bit. It adds up.
No, yeah, I like hearing these things. I'm a perfectionist a little bit.
Exactly. Okay. So you have a few autos here on the small raptors. This is all good. This is all good. It's all good. Okay. And then right here, you auto the small one.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just one small auto. And then look at where you're finishing the camp. The range for the camp is like here, I believe. And you finish it like here. The camp doesn't start to reset aggro until it's like out here, right? So you can walk all the way to here and you can kill it around here.
Okay.
So you sort of
So
want to,
around the bush area. Okay.
yeah, I mean you want to kill the camp as far away from the pit as possible. So let's just like imagine that this is the pit it's always gonna spawn from, and this is the leash range. You always want to kill it as far away as possible from this like range, from this area.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Use your W to speed yourself up to getting this camp.
Yeah, is that bad?
Let me see.
I always do that, like
Honestly,
just to get the speed.
yeah, it might be okay. Looking at it, it's not the end of the world. I wouldn't dwell on that too much.
Okay.
One thing to note here for your clear is your E is coming up in 2 seconds too. Wait, what? Your E is coming up in 1. Okay, so this camp has 400 HP. Your E is going to, so pretty much your E is a, let's see, it's a 12-second cooldown, and your E is what gives you the most damage on camps, right? So what I want you to do here is, instead of using your E on the camp that's pretty much dead, save it, auto this camp to death, and use it on the blue buff.
Ah, okay.
That's gonna help you clear your camps quick.
It's a good one.
Shyvana clear is a little slow. Okay, so far so good. Full clear, recall, great. Oh, actually, you still have enough gold for pickaxe. Oh, nice. I thought you'd be off a little
Yeah,
bit.
after the scuttle, you always get it. Just gotta wait 3 to 4 seconds.
So far so good. Yep, everything's looking great so far. I can agree with all the decisions you've been making. Yeah, here's a little like small thing, but you want to insta recall, right? Like 6:15 you can recall. You recall around 6:20. 5-second difference, not the end of the world. You're level 5 Shyvana. You do not want to go gank the Mordekaiser here. You do not want to go gank Ballin, you don't gank anyone. You want to recall and farm your top camps, yeah. So even the idea here of going and then you also ping on the way towards the Mordekaiser, absolutely illegal. You're not making plays at this time of the game. I mean, next to the camp. Can you start? Save your E. Enter the camp to help you your speed. And then the small thing is try not to make any plays. E6, always play for quicker tempo. So recall even quicker.
Alright.
Okay, here is where we're going to talk about order of operations. So your red buff, Krugs, and Raptors are going to be up here. If you clear your Krugs, then red buff, then Raptors, what's going to happen is you've created a desync between the camps. Because your Krugs is going to respawn in 2 minutes 15 seconds, and your Raptors is not going to respawn after because you used the time to clear the red buff. So what you should do instead here is you should do red buff, Raptors, then red buff Krugs, then Raptors. And now you've cleared these two together. 1, 2. So the order should be 1, 2, 3. Versus what we're probably going to see.
Spawn as often. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what we're probably going to see. Is you do 1, 2, 3 here. And what that's going to do is, again, there's going to be a desync, and I'll show you what the desync looks like later on in the game.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, Nidalee does some trolling. Flashes, we ult at her, great. Okay. In the ultimate here, auto. So you're doing something where it looks like you're down to die and go 1-for-1. It's actually really bad if you die here. So when I'm in this position, even right now when he ults you, I believe you have a lot of area to run backwards here. Because the ult range should be something like this. Run away from him. Don't fight him. If for whatever reason this guy kills you, you lose out on all of your camps in terms of tempo, in terms of speed. You do not want to be slow on your camps. You're playing a champion like Shyvana. So you don't want to risk dying ever. So even here, after you escape, instead of autoing this guy and staying here, and autoing, I'm running away from my life. You barely live. One more auto, if you could have weaved in, you would have died. Okay, so far so good. This is great. It's Nidalee spotted. This is great. Everything so far has been looking really, really nice. Really, really nice gameplay. Recall. We actually are really close to our item. How much do you need? You need 325 by that. Yeah, you need 2 camps worth of gold at this point. So
Yeah.
what should you do instead here?
What should I do? Maybe take the wolves.
You can try taking wolves.
Or
Nidalee's gonna come defend them though. What else can you do?
do my Krugs, like the things up top.
And then, if you remember, when you cleared your raptors, at this long in the game, where all the way back here, you killed the Mordekaiser, and you did your raptors. At this point, it's been long enough to when both your Krugs and raptors are gonna come up. So Krugs is up, go clear your Krugs, and then go to the raptors. Alternatively,
Right.
if you run to the Krugs and you wait in base, I'm not sure how long you need to wait. You need to wait a little bit. Then you can actually buy your item, which is going to be way more important than basing with. Spacing is important, but you want to get that item if you can. If you can greed out something on the map, it's very, very useful. Now the one argument is, okay, well, dragons come up in 30 seconds. Don't I want to be doing the dragon on spawn? You do. You absolutely do. The problem here is that your bot lane is not winning that hard, and you want to have your item for the dragon fight if possible, and it is possible. You just need to go do the crux. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It makes perfect sense.
Awesome. And then
Like the item is worth the extra
yeah,
time you spend clearing the camps. Yeah,
exactly.
it makes sense
Exactly.
because it's consistent.
Yeah. Although recalling right away and going straight for the dragon also makes a lot of sense because you want to be here on spawn. You want to see if you can burst this, and Nidalee is also like trolling sort of in the top side. So this is great.
I think I died here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, like if you had your Shojin, potentially, actually it's like given the conditions of the scenario here, you might have been able to, kill them all. Especially since that Nidalee was like face checking you. That's the difference of the position you could have been in.
Yeah.
All right, you have your item now. Let's take a look at what you do.
I'm completely ignoring top lane, by the way. Is that a bad thing? Because I don't really see a reason to go there.
It's yeah. I mean, yeah. What you've been doing so far this game is fine. If like that answers your questions. Um,
Okay.
there's no like rush. There's no urgency to play around top lane. This game's not really played around top right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought as well.
All right. So far, it's pretty normal to me. You're doing like wonders against the enemy jungler, right? Obviously, I mean, this guy's like dying a lot. So at this point of the game, what matters a lot is how you play team fights. So even backtracking here to this team fights, and looking at the position you have, right now, your ult is good, okay? Your E, your flash is alright, okay? If we look all the way back here, even to now, we think about, hey, we're playing Shyvana. Not really frontline champion. If I'm going to be honest, Shyvana is not really an auto attacker anyway, and we'll see how that impacts your fighting later on. But why are you walking here? What is the point? Why are we here? We want to be doing our camps. We want to be farming for resources. We want to be, getting towards our next item. So walking in this really, really greedy like place where Twitch is in base, Nami's in base, the Fury is very, very far away, is already concerning. Like doing all this is already concerning. You've already put yourself in a really terrible position at the start of the fight. So of course the fight's gonna end up being bad. Okay, so we might see this problem come up in the future, but I'm gonna put this as fighting notes. Some fights might end up being bad because of the start of the position behind the fight. Sort of the position of the fight. Okay.
Yeah.
So in the mid game, if you are even/behind, your goal is to complete your next item. So right now you have one item, which is great. When you look at your teammates though, we're down item here. Top lane actually it's Malzahar, so I can switch those real quick. But top lane is down item. AC is down item. We're even. You're ahead. And then we're even. So if we just like real quick, like do some, they have one item advantage over us. And then if we look at the fights we're taking, like where we are, it's sort of even in terms of items, except for it's not because your teammates aren't here. So even if you wanted to fight something here for some reason, you guys are not really strong. Who is currently strong on your team that's not just you?
The Fury.
Yeah, and look at the side of the map you're on.
Right, yeah. Nah, this was a terrible position. I don't know what I was thinking at the time.
You gotta be really, 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 really careful because you losing your flash cause a lot of problems in a game state like this.
I see.
You lose your flash. Like, in some situations, maybe your teammates even die here. Okay, otherwise, everything looks pretty good here. You go back to farming, which is great. Okay, looks pretty normal to me. Aurora gets caught. Okay, so everything overall has been pretty good. Honestly, pretty like reasonable 14 minutes of the game. The only like questionable thing was, hey, you could have avoided all like probably avoided dying bot lane, and avoided just like not hard winning the bot fights if you had played for your item. The thing here is just like sort of small, but hey, if Malzahar is gonna keep pushing this top wave, this guy's actually worth more than these camps here. So go kill this guy. If you kill this guy, your Aurora can play, your teammates can play. Okay. Do you feel like this guy's like killable or?
By myself?
Oh, you got Aurora here, so like, it's 2v1, right? He is.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, okay.
absolutely.
Yeah. So go ahead and kill this guy, right? If this guy's gonna play like an absolute psychopath, absolute mental, you should capitalize on these kills. These are the kills I like to see people play for. These are the kills I'm like, bro, like this guy's hard griefing, hard inting, it's like way too aggressively. I want to go capitalize and kill him.
Okay.
Okay, so Twitch is dead.
Yeah, that Twitch, it was just, I don't know what he was doing, but it doesn't matter.
Let's take a look at how you play this team fight. Ulti. E, she flashes. Aurora goes in. The Fury and Aurora do some popping off. Great. So Aurora hard pops off here. You guys get the kills. Great, great fight. Yeah, overall pretty good. So, you end the game 0-5 and 10. So the next 4 deaths, some bad shit happens for sure. So let's really break down the mid game at this point. So looking at the tab screen, who's your strongest teammate?
In my team is Nefiri, that's the strongest character.
Okay, and then who's next?
I would say Aurora.
Okay, and then afterwards,
Yeah, me.
okay, and then Twitch not me, and then enemy team who's strongest,
Vayne.
and then
And then Malzar, but
Yeah.
he's never really fighting with them. So, but yeah, he is.
yep. So you got Mal's Vayne being high targets. They have 2 items. Does anyone on your team have 2 items?
No,
Right.
nobody.
So if you guys are going to take a fight, you guys must have 2 items or really good conditions. So I hope to see that.
I never pay attention to that.
Oh, we're
The
summoning
items.
Herald. Your Nefiri has gold. You have thousands of gold. In response to these guys doing this, it makes some sense.
Yeah, that's why I did it.
Right.
Trying to pressure other sides of the map.
Yeah, yeah. Overall, this makes a lot of sense. It's just, hey, you got to think hard that, hey, I am looking for my completed item. Yours, the Furies, anyone's, before you hard make plays. So if you go a little too deep here, you can put yourself in a really terrible position.
Mordekaiser keeps killing me. That was the guy. He just ults me and kills me. And I am not buying QSS, bro.
Yeah. Why are you here in the first place, though? Mordekaiser shouldn't kill
That's
anything because you shouldn't be here. You did your job. Enemy took mid turret, you took top turret in response. That Herald won you an extra 500 gold, which is great.
Yeah.
That means Herald got you 200 gold for killing it earlier and an extra 500. Also, QSS doesn't stop Mordekaiser at all anymore, so Mordekaiser is
Oh, shit,
yeah.
you're right.
yeah, Mordekaiser is a bit more stupid that way. But yeah, this is like why are you taking the next, charge in? You need to leave here, you need to recall. The Fury has their item. You have camps up, you have the next turret to play for as well, the spot turret.
Yeah.
This is where your game derails. You've played a very, very solid 18 minutes of League, and then the Herald got you. Now in League, sometimes it's something random, something important that just throws people off. In this case, it was the little Herald that she like rode in. It's pretty silly. But overall, you've created a 3-level lead against this jungler. You've absolutely like giga smashed him. Then you do this shit. This game, you could probably be up. It'd probably be a stable 3. If you like OP farm, like maybe you could get to like 4. It's really important for you to emphasize, hey, like stability is really important here. And like I mentioned, you guys don't have items. Meanwhile, they have items, and overall, it's just like why are we fighting right now, when we can relax and try and get our next items and play safer. You mentioned how you like not taking many risks at the start of the game. I think that's a very, very valid way of looking at the game. With the potion and whatnot, I think it's really important for you to transfer that into the mid game as well. The more risk you take, the harder the mid game actually gets. It's really important to say, hey, this Herald right in there is like really, 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 really disastrous.
Yeah, that was greedy.
So what ends up happening is not only do you guys die, but Nefiri loses their flash. That's what I'm actually looking at here. Not Nefiri like the shutdown or anything. It's Nefiri flash. The reason why Nefiri flash is so important is because Baron's coming up in a minute. Nefiri needs flash to try and kill the Vayne or the Malzahar. On top of that, Dragon's coming up in 3 minutes and 20. Nefiri also wants flash for the Dragon fight. Like the Nefiri's lost conditions because of a fight you forced Nefiri to be partaken.
Right.
Makes your next sequence even harder. Alright, let's take a look at the next play here. Okay, so you go to the top side, good. So let's reevaluate our tab screen. Now if we look at our tab screen, we look at the items. This guy might be up a blasting one and a ruby crystal, but this 1200 gold isn't actually that concerning versus like this. This is like what we're really looking at here. This is what we're really looking at here. Even you're really close to your next item. That's what we're looking at. How close you can be to your next item. Okay, so right now is probably the most even you are in the game across your teammates at least. And then 300 gold is needed. So please farm 2-3 camps and then recall. Okay, maybe kill this guy and recall.
No, he kills me.
Kills you, yeah. Well, this is like the second, third, fourth time he's like tried ulting you and killing you.
Yeah.
At this point, like you should know, like right, like this is like not really a familiar fight you want to be around. And on top of that, I know this is 1v2, but it's never 1v2, right? Mordekaiser never 1v2s people. They're always 1v1s them, right? Because of his ultimate. Normally, this would be numbers advantage play. Let's say an enemy was like Renekton here. You have an extra number, so it makes sense to fight him. Mordekaiser, you got to think specifically, it doesn't really work against Mordekaiser. On top of that, it's really important to note that you have your item. So let's not stay on the map and look for plays. Let's recall, grab our item, and then look for plays on the map. Another side note here is like Mordekaiser ults you against the wall here. I believe like there's terrain here that you can ult to as Shyvana. Unfortunately, it doesn't show the range of Mord ult, but if I'm just like gauging Mord ult, you should be able to ult to either side here.
That's a good point.
If you want to try and escape this guy, use your R if it helps. So now you sort of put yourself in another position where that happens. Twitch and your Aurora, everyone clutches up, which is great. Let's see what goes on here. You have your item now, perfect. Look at Nidalee, look at you. You have your item, so you're very powerful. But then the next thing we want to assess is, hey, look at Malzahar and look at your guys. So Malzahar is now the strongest on the enemy team. It might seem like Vayne's the strongest, 8, 2, and 5. Do you know why Malzahar is the strongest this game? How does this guy have three items? What did this guy do?
He just farmed. 240.
Yep, and there's one other big reason.
Small.
What was that?
Yeah, he has a lot of gold.
From what?
From farming.
Yeah, it was one more.
The turrets?
Yeah. Look at the gold. I mean, he's pretty much the same amount of gold as the Vayne, even though he has 6 less skills. And also,
Yeah.
Pyke ulted a bunch for the Vayne, so Vayne shouldn't even have this much gold. It's a little inflated. Which is why I'm like, I was surprised Vayne had this much gold, because I realized they have Pyke. So Pyke ult's going to be really broken to accelerate the gold even further. But yeah, Malzahar's items are also a little bit cheaper, so that's pretty much why Malzahar's the strongest. And it's always something to consider. Hey, the tab screen, right now, Vayne's strong, but Mal's actually a little bit stronger, so that's going to evaluate and change who our target focus should be in the next fights. Do you think you win a 5v5 on this dragon coming up in 30 seconds?
On paper, no.
What can you
I
do
don't think
instead
so.
of trying to play this dragon?
What can we do instead of doing the dragon?
Yeah.
I actually have no idea. I'll be honest. That's a hard question. I was always gonna check for the dragon and try to contest it. I kind of gave up already, bro. I'll be real with you.
How
So I
come?
don't know.
How come you give
How
up?
come? I just didn't see us winning, like, cause it was just me and the Nefiri, Aurora, kind of.
That's three of
Which,
your teammates, right? That's like,
yeah, but if you look at them,
I mean, I'm looking at their Nidalee, I'm like, damn, I'm looking at their Mordekaiser, he's killed you, but like, he's not even doing that pretty. The Malzahar's farming well, but Malzahar's not even doing that pretty. The Vayne is their team right now. The Vayne and their Pike.
that's why I kept pinging her too. Like, if you look at the chat, I kept spam pinging, pinging, pinging. Like, we gotta focus her, you know. But I don't think I did a good job of that either. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't know what I would have done here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If it's so we'll have a two-part discussion here. So going towards the enemy top side and trading and forcing the enemy to feel like, oh, maybe they'll lose their top tier 2. Okay, so after the wolves here, instead of running down, you would run upwards and you'd go play for this turret potentially. You'd go play for control over the Baron. Maybe you even rip the Baron and you just fight it for fun. And you do camps. Anything in the top side away from Dragon is going to be your best friend. That's trading.
Very good. Yeah, that's good. You
Okay?
know what's funny? That was actually the first thing that came to mind, but I wasn't sure. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought, you know what I mean? Okay.
But sometimes it feels weird to like leave an objective, but listen, like it's better to leave the objective than to lose the game on the objective. Because you can
That's
take this
true.
fight, you can hard lose the fight, and then you're in a disastrous state. Or maybe you take the fight and like if it's like a standstill. You don't even want to standstill here. You want to get some resources back so you can get to your next item. It's all about a race to items. Although at the same time, you might feel like the fight's really hard to win. This fight's actually like relatively winnable. Your Twitch is 2 items. So their Twitch and Vayne are actually compared. They're even. Your top lane, your jungle, like if we were like to total up items, to tally up the items, the only reason why you guys are down items is because of this extra item from Pike. This Vayne has 2, Twitch has 2, the Fury, Mord, 1, 2, 3, 2. So this you guys cancel each other out, 4 and 4, and then it's because this guy is like these guys cancel each other out, and then it's just because Pike has an extra item. But it doesn't matter too much if Pike has an extra item or not. It's not the end of the world. You guys are actually in a good spot to potentially fight the dragon. So you evaluated that, hey, maybe this is too hard to fight. I'm letting you know that, hey, I think you could fight this. It's just an idea that, hey, if you really feel like this game is fucked, it's best, just if you're trying to still win, to go ignore the dragon and go towards the top side. Make sense?
Right, okay. Yeah, it does make sense.
You do have to have that evaluation on whether or not the situation is winning or losing based on items. And then if you want to dig deeper, do you know all the sort of champions like Nefiri, Aurora, Twitch, like all the abilities and whatnot?
I don't know anything about Nefiri or Aurora.
Yeah.
At all.
It's gonna be a pain in the ass playing when you're missing like pretty much 2 whole champions, especially on your team. Even on the enemy, actually, it's worse than the enemy because they can fucking like kill you then really quickly or not, and it's just like, oh, you don't know what you're dealing with. It's really important to have the champion proficiency on not just your own champion, or sorry, champion understanding on every single champion in the game, so you're not left up wondering how powerful the Fury or Aurora is. You might be like, damn, like I'm not sure if they're strong or weak or not. It's like pretty questionable. I'm not sure if the Fury has a dash. I'm not sure if the Fury can stay alive. There's a lot of question marks. Like I'm not sure what Aurora ultimate does, the Fury ultimate does. What I recommend is if there's a champion you don't know what they do, I'm gonna pull up the resource here. I want you to go lolwiki the Fury. Okay, so you can just search up literally lolwiki and the name, and you can just get a general feel on a few things. One, the easiest thing to look at is Q cooldown. So Q goes from 9 to 7. Okay, relatively chill. W goes from 22 to 14. It's a pretty long cooldown, damn. Q is 10 to 8. Sure. Alt is 120 to 100. It's a general idea, general thoughts. If you really want to go even further in depth, Nefiri, Nefiri LoL Spotlight. And you need to expand your knowledge on the champion. Right? It's really important to do this because in a game where there's hundreds and hundreds, like 180 champions or so, every champion has 4 abilities, a passive, and a unique a playstyle and damage threshold and just usefulness, impactfulness in fights. So you'll get an understanding of whether or not this is winnable, not just based off of items. There's a large weight, and I wrote this in my jungle, my free jungle cheat sheet, where it's like if you're below gold, it likely is because you are missing maybe 60 to 65% of champion interactions, champion abilities, champion damage, champion cooldowns. Literally, like what I like to call it, the shit you should learn in elementary school. All the basics of League of Legends actually so much more crucial than these advanced concepts of trading around the map, than team fighting mechanics, optimal pathing. If you don't know what you're dealing with, you don't know what your champions do, enemy champions do, you're gonna be fucking miserable.
Yeah, I'm gonna study the newer champions a bit more. It's because I came back after a long hiatus,
Right,
so I
right.
need to still. But it's not too many. It's just him and Aurora and Milo, or I don't know.
Emilio, yeah.
Yeah, those are the only ones.
Right. So then the next fun thing you can do is if you're confident about all these other champions, is start asking yourself the question of, okay, how long is Twitch invisibility cooldown? What's your guess?
Like 10 seconds.
10 seconds. All right, let's take a look.
Let me see.
So the cooldown is around 15, 16.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're like relatively close. What about Twitch's E? What about Twitch's R? What about Nami's abilities? What about Pyke's abilities? Every champion's abilities, you want to have a general time frame of whether it's low, medium, or high. It's the best way to process it. And then the amount of damage, the amount of survivability, etc. So like a Jax E, an Udyr W, a Malzahar spell shield, a Nidalee heal in the middle of a fight. All these things can be inputted into your brain if you just know more about the champion. And that's something I want you to continuously build, because right now your account was gold, right? So you're working to get to platinum. And it's good, know all the champions, so know Nefiri, know Aurora, know Emilio, and then go above and beyond, and then know your let's say I'm asking you right now, level 12 Shyvana with these items, how long is your E cooldown actually?
My E cooldown would be about 6 seconds.
6 seconds. Let's take a look. I believe you're pretty accurate. Yeah. Nice. So you're right around the correct range, which is perfect. So this is like something. It seems like you have the right idea on. You have the good idea of champions, and I guess we're just a little unlucky here because you got two champs where you just don't know. You just got unlucky. Out of the 3, you got 2. Out of fucking 180 champions.
Right. Nah. Yeah. But no excuses, bro.
Right. Everything you can do to try and win is really all you can do. And then the only other thing I want you to think of in this scenario is again, when you evaluated that this is this is like a situation where it's like, no, you shouldn't fight this on paper. I would like to say otherwise. I would think this is a great situation for you to come back. And the reason why this is a great situation for you to come back in the game is because their Vayne is working on the 3rd item. Once Vayne gets their 3rd item, that's where you're going to actually struggle even fucking harder. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because the Twitch is so far away from 3rd item. Meanwhile, Vayne is going to have 3rd item. Twitch will have 2.25 items, while this guy has like 3. But right now, the Vayne has like 2.5 items, while Twitch has 2. This is a great scenario. Alright, so let's take a look at the actual fighting. Because at this point in the game, 22 minutes, like you mentioned in the Twitch chat, you were like, bro, I like Shyvana. By the way, you've done a great job at snowballing with Shyvana. This is snowballing. You have 3 dragons. You have 3 or 2 grubs. You fucked yourself over up here, but and here actually. So your deaths are what's actually hindering you from being level 14 potentially in this fight, or having extra control wards, extra ruby crystal, or smaller advantages. But overall, you've done a great job, and now we're entering team fights. So this is where it's like, is Shyvana a good or bad champion? Here you're in a great position to really get the evaluation of how you should be playing Shyvana. So, throw out E there, Nafir is going down, great. You're saving your ultimate, absolutely beautiful. Being slowly beautiful, okay. Alright. So, if you were to identify Shyvana as a champion, and I said something earlier, let's say if you remember, what would you identify Shyvana as?
Shyvana is like a fighter character, like kind of like a caster too. Like she's she's like a hybrid,
Hybrid, okay.
in my opinion.
If you were to really label Shyvana as like one that she excels at, which one is it? Being the caster or being the fighter? The bruiser.
Well, I would say the caster.
Yeah. Look at how you played this fight.
Yeah, I went and had it first. Yeah.
So going in here, you're ulting in here, you're eating. Okay, so that's casting. Great. This fuck is getting fucked.
I didn't see the Vayne at all, to be honest.
Vayne, yeah. So that's a good cast. Yeah. But what's really concerning is all the way back here, you have many opportunities to ult to the side and start casting.
Oh, hold on, Barry. Let me ask you one question.
Yeah.
I have the habit of always using my ult on them. Is that a bad thing?
Yes, my friend. It is the worst thing. That is
Oh,
why you're
shit,
struggling
bro.
on Shyvana.
You don't know what you just did, bro. Like this is crazy.
Bro, you want to know the god angle here?
always done that.
There's two god angles here if you're a god Shyvana player. You go right here, and you ult this way, and you start throwing E's from this side. Alternatively, you go back here, and you ult behind them, and they're just fucking trapped.
Bro, this is revolutionary. I tell you, I swear to God, every single time, because I still stuck with the old school tanky Shyvana.
Yeah, the tanky Shyvana, get on top of them, bam, bam, bam. Yeah.
Exactly, like you throw them there, and I don't know, like for some reason it just made sense. Like I said, okay, well, this build, I don't know, some shit like some information inside of her build makes her tanky somehow. Like, you can fight, you throw the E, you Q. So basically, all I need to do, spam E.
Yes. Your job on Shyvana is land as many E's as possible. I think you get, like, you have around, how much? 5 Fury a second. If you're on 20 seconds, you can get around, you get 5 E's or 4 E's. Wait, is that right?
But that's when I was gonna tell you, I didn't find her damage overwhelming enough. But I can come back to that later.
Right. Well, I would say like if you land 2 good E's on their Vayne, how much damage is Vayne taking? Let's look at Vayne's HP. How much damage is Vayne taking if you land 2 E's out of your 4 on Vayne?
I think about 60 to 70%.
Yeah. Like it's like I was gonna underball and say like maybe 900 damage. That's fucking 60% of her HP. She's fucked.
Yeah. But sometimes too, like I throw E's and I'm super fed. I'm telling you, like 7-0. I have like all the items. I'm like 3 levels ahead. I expect to destroy people. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe my expectations are too high.
Yeah.
That could be the case.
I think that could be the case. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like I'm gonna deal a lot of damage, but not too much.
Yeah, you're not like
It's consistent.
listen, like I think there was like a time where I was like 20 kills on Shyvana. I had like 5 items, and then I was like chucking E's out on arms of people, and I was like completely one-shotting them in a very normal game.
Right.
That's not Shyvana. Shyvana is like the epitome of what I call small wins. You're the small win Andy. So you eat them 2 times, and then you've won the objective now because they're like 30-40% HP. They don't really want to fight anymore, so they're going to leave. Your goal is not actually to kill them in the first place to win the objective. You don't need to kill the Vayne or the Pike or the Nidalee to win the dragon.
You just annoy them.
And Shyvana, it's like fucking annoying ass dragon. And then the way
That's
I love to
so
play
cool.
it is you go to the sides, and it's just like you go and play as if you're a ranged champion, as if you're like a mage, so they can't get on top of you because your E on Shyvana, the range is like sort of fucking stupid, right? Like it like expands and like it's just very very far, so you can land crazy ass E's while they just can't touch you.
That's crazy. Cause I'm telling you, like, if you ever seen all my other fights,
Right.
like gameplay, you would see I run them down. Like that's all I do. Like I press E and I run them down. Press
Yeah,
E, run them
yeah,
down.
yeah. What you want to do is you press E, walk back, press E, walk back. Wait for the next E.
Say,
And then
you see, I run them down.
yeah,
Chase.
this, you're going in. Like no, I'm playing a little more relaxed. I'm waiting. Even now, I wouldn't necessarily or you don't have to. You've been holding the whole fight. Here's another scenario where I could like say like, hey, you could ult here and put in a lot of work. Where was it? No, it was back.
If I knew that,
here,
I would have been on the fight.
Back here. So here's another scenario where it's like you could actually hard win the fight right now if you just sit here and then like when all this is happening, like this is a great time to ult in and just E like 2-3 times.
Yeah, exactly. No,
And then
now
you win
that
the
I know
objective.
this, trust, bro.
Yeah. Don't overdo it though. I think I've actually sometimes ulted too early. You had good discipline with your ult. So still have good discipline,
Yeah.
still find good timings, but that's the way you want to play your fights on Shyvana. And then again, that's what could be really hurting your fighting. And the most important thing is your goal is not to kill people. Your goal is to take small wins and then win the objective. Because you get those dragons, you're now up. How much is this? You're now up 20 fucking armor and MR for fun, which is worth. How much is the no magic? It's worth like an extra 1k gold, which is pretty nice. Obviously, getting the soul is gonna be even nicer. All right, so that's a fight you definitely could have carried on your behalf. We're still in a position where it's like, okay, well, Nefiri is like pretty far from the third item. Twitch is omega far. Vayne is about to get their third item for sure. Likely, maybe Mordekaiser is too. So now you're working on your third item. You're also very far, just as far as Twitch. And your Aurora is getting relatively close. But pretty much the time you want to fight, if possible, if you can stall enough, is when you are at 3 items and they're at like 3.5 or like 3.75, if that's possible. But at this point, because we're at the 3 item mark in the mid game, likely whoever gets that third item quicker sort of just shits on the enemy team. That's sort of how that works. Because they'll just win the fight that much easier. But let's take a look here. So the Mordekaiser. So here's where it's like, hey, if you are actively aware of what I just told you, how you want to be scaling, you want to relax, you want to let them siege. They don't even have the Baron actually, so it's like they can't even siege too easily. What can you do right now to actually impact bot lane? It's sort of like a trick question.
I can take top.
Take top. Okay, what else?
To pressure bot lane?
To impact, just change the outcome of what could happen here. Maybe even back here is a better way of looking at it. If you don't like what's going on here, what can you how can you impact what's going on down here?
I wouldn't pull up personally. Like I wouldn't really.
Yeah, I mean you're so far
mean,
away. You're so far away.
Yeah, I would just take top. I really
Yeah, take top. Okay. While doing all of this, by the way, there's one key thing you can do, and it's ping them.
Oh, okay.
Fucking send 5 pings at these guys all the way back here. What the fuck are these guys doing? Even Mordekaiser's pinging. This guy wants to win. This guy's a trooper. What are you doing? You're farming your camps and you're not communicating whatsoever. So this is a universal thing you can do at all points in the game. Okay? Use your pings actively, especially in the mid game.
Gotta ping more. Okay.
To prevent your teammates running into stupid situations. At least you did everything you can. Some people might say like, oh, they'll die anyway. Yeah, sure. But you did everything you possibly could.
No, I agree with you. Yeah.
Right. So the funny notes I want to recap here are: make sure to think about Shyvana as a caster with your ultimates, when you're dragon form. Find angles and positions where you can get 3 to 4 good ease to win the objective. Okay, another small thing I saw about to think about Shyvana is your goal is not to ult on top of enemies. Only time you're doing this is if like the fight's already won, you have a massive like weird flank, and you can like group them together, or if like your teammates like honestly like I fucking think like 1 out of maybe like 50 scenarios do you actually do that. Um, unless like you have 5 items already and like because your ult actually scales with AP and you have like level 3 ult, and like you're just like because when you have level 3 ult, so level 16 and you have 5 items, you can actually RE and then completely one shot someone, but that's like very rare cases anyway. Okay, other thing in the mid game I want you to think about is when there's a losing situation. Objective, go trade on the other side of the map for more resources. Get to your next item. Other thing to think about is constantly. So we obviously have the tab screen up. We're pausing. We're evaluating. It's easier to see what's going on here. You need to constantly, and I mean constantly. If you look at your own games, by the way, you should record your own games if you're really serious with the grind. You look at your own games. You look throughout the game. You're like, did I hold tab screen because I need to have information on the tab screen to make good decisions. So I'll leave you with this analogy. If you put a challenger player into a gold level game and you give the challenger player gold level information, the challenger player won't actually be able to make challenger level decisions. There'll be intuition and pattern recognition that they can work off of. But the reason why a challenger level player plays like a challenger level player and has challenger level decision making is because of the info they gather. Holding tab, looking at the items, looking at the conditions, looking at summoner spells, looking at HPs, looking at ultimates. All of these things are very basic universal things, again, that everyone can do. But a challenger player does it consistently, very well, and they're very, like, they know how important it is, essentially. Everyone can do it, though.
Right, yeah.
Constantly check tab and other means of gathering information. How close to your item, what all waves like, ultimates, summoner spells, and pretty much what I want you to really work on, because your early game was actually really nice for the most part, is you need to, the same idea you gave me at the start is remove that risk in the mid game and work on getting yourself to your 3rd item and 4th item and 5th item, and that's when Shyvana actually is the most broken in the game. Shyvana scales unbelievable, like not fair. Her scaling is not fair. Follow the idea of having less risk and scale into the mid game. Mid/late game. Do not die. And that also means there was that one fight that I want us to really quickly recap. It's Mordekaiser here. That one little situation. No. Back here. Yeah, that one little situation here where it's like, bro, just fucking run this way, man, and just go to the turret. And I want you to just live. Just emphasize living. It's just a universal jungle thing, but you also gotta think you're playing a champion like Shyvana. You're hungry for resources. If you're dead, you can't get any resources.
Yeah. Okay. Do I have to avoid Mordekaiser altogether if he keeps targeting me?
I would not show my face next to this guy. Or if I am, I'm ulting away from him. Or I'll also actually, if you ult the moment he Rs, I believe you go unstoppable. I could be wrong about this, but I believe. Well, actually, maybe not. I don't know. Disregard that. Anyway, I'm like ulting back here, and then I'm going to like chuck ease at him to deal with him if I want to deal with him. But yeah, you avoid him.
Yeah. Yeah, now I know that
Yeah.
that caster mechanic.
Yeah.
That's so good, bro. Like,
Yep.
I've been playing her wrong all this time.
You can have another perspective on it, and then The only time where maybe it's
Because of you.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, of course, and only time I think it's actually fine to jump people is when you have your Shojin, and it's early game and you're ahead. Okay, because but when you start getting your Landries and you're transitioning to this actual AP way of Shyvana, and other people are getting strong as well, that's where it sort of changes. Additionally, you likely want AP on your sorry, not AP, CC on your team. Imagine you ult on top of someone, but you have no CC, no follow up. It doesn't actually matter if you ult on top of them. It's not that easy.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to think about, constantly think about completing your next item and getting as strong as you possibly can. While fighting, think about Shyvana as a caster. Will likely change. At the same time, you need to take the small wins and win the objective. And the small thing, think about how you can impact lanes without being in their lane. Use beams.
Yeah. Nah. Yeah. I definitely got to ping more. I have two more questions.
All right.
One related to the build. What should I always build her the same?
Yeah. You're building her perfectly fine.
Yeah, just like that every
Yeah,
single
yeah.
time.
This is just like the goal and build.
That's the core build. Okay,
Yeah.
fine, cool. And how? And do you ever invade? Like jungle path wise, do you ever invade them?
Not until
Or
I'm
no?
level 6 or I have my item. And even if
No,
I
I
have
mean
my
like early
item,
level.
no, no, never, never. If you like, unless like there's no dragon up, and well, what I mean by like, okay, but pre 5 minutes, like never. One out of
Okay.
a
Is
hundred
there a
games.
reason for that?
You're playing a champion that wants to get level 6 and dragons. If you invade, you invest pretty much every camp you invade. It's worth 2 times as much gold and EXP because you're taking away from them. But it's costs 2 times as much tempo. Shyvana's a champion that
That's
needs
true.
like, it takes 2 times as long, and then you're recalling and you have to run away, and then, like it's much harder to do that. Shyvana's a champion that wants to farm for 6 quickly, efficiently on her behalf for herself and get the dragons. So that's why a farming jungler doesn't like invading like that.
Yeah, yeah. You just want to be on a rotation
Yep,
continuously,
yep,
efficiently,
exactly,
until you get your item and your levels, and you start blasting. Okay,
exactly.
that's pretty rational, logical. Sounds good. This was a
Alrighty,
good lesson, bro. Very good. Learned a lot.
awesome, man. Good luck on the rift. Keep in touch, of course, bro.
Thank you, my man. Yeah, nah, definitely. I'm in your Discord server, so if I see you around, I'm gonna say hi.
Of course, man.
Check your stream too. Okay, bro. Thank you.
Have a wonderful night.
Appreciate it.
I'll see you around, man. Alright, guys. Hope you enjoyed that Shyvana coaching session. It's really important to know how to fight. I think things finally started clicking. Overall, a good early game, though. I mean, you can sort of see the level 9 to level 12 Shyvana. Really, really impressive stuff. But the fighting is where it comes down to in difficult games like this. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace, peace.